There is a moment in figure skating, a fraction of a second, maybe 4 rotations, maybe 5, where the laws of physics feel like they're being broken. And in that moment, a 19-year-old kid from Virginia didn't just land a jump, he rewrote history. But here's the thing nobody's talking about. The title he just claimed, nobody his age has done it in over 2 decades. Not one skater, not one athlete, not in 25 years. And we're just getting started. To understand why what Ilia Malinin just did is borderline impossible, you have to go back to the year 2000. Think about what the world looked like. The internet was dial-up, your parents were still buying CDs, and in figure skating, a new era of dominance was beginning. One that would be ruled by skaters who trained for decades, peaked in their mid-20s, and fought off the world one grueling season at a time. 3 world championship titles in that span? Only a handful of names have ever done it, and none of them did it as young as Malinin just did. The skating community was not ready for what Ilia was about to do to it. Born to 2 competitive figure skaters, his father a 2-time world medalist, his mother a former Russian champion, Ilia Malinin was essentially engineered for this sport. But genetics alone don't make legends. Plenty of athletes have famous parents. Plenty of them fizzle out under the weight of expectation. What separates Malinin isn't his bloodline, it's what he does when the music starts. Because when most skaters are landing quadruple jumps, which alone are brutally difficult achievements, Malinin landed the quadruple Axel in competition. Let that sink in. The quadruple Axel, a jump so technically complex that it has 4.5 rotations, that it requires a forward takeoff unlike every other quad jump, had never been done cleanly in official competition, ever. Not once, not in the history of the sport, until a 16-year-old walked up to the boards, took the ice, and did it like it was warm-up. The skating community erupted. Coaches who had spent their careers telling students the quad axel was theoretical called their colleagues in disbelief. Footage of the jump went viral overnight, racking up millions of views in hours. Even non-skating fans, sports fans, casual viewers, people who hadn't watched a single second of figure skating in their lives were stopping mid-scroll to watch this teenager defy gravity on repeat. But here's where the story gets even more interesting. Because landing a quad axel once? Shocking. Building a world championship winning program around it and doing it consistently across multiple seasons? That is a completely different level of athletic achievement. That is not a one-hit wonder. That is a dynasty being constructed in real time in front of a global audience. Think about the names who've dominated men's figure skating over the last 25 years. Yevgeny Plushenko, Patrick Chan, Yuzuru Hanyu, 2-time Olympic GAT, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, cultural icon, arguably the greatest men's skater of the modern era. These are the names etched into the record books. And now, at an age when many elite skaters are still fighting to crack the senior circuit, Malinin's name sits beside them. 3 world titles, before turning 20. But what does that actually mean in terms of historical context? Let's be precise for a second, because the numbers are staggering. Since the year 2000, only a small number of men's skaters have won 3 or more world championship titles. The exclusivity of that list alone tells you everything. And the age at which Malinin accomplished it? There is no comparable moment since the turn of the millennium. 0. He is categorically alone in that column of the record books. That's not hype, that's the data. Now pause, because this is where a lot of coverage of Malinin gets it wrong. People focus entirely on the jumps, the quads, the axel, the technical score, and miss the bigger picture. What is being built here isn't just a jumping machine. The artistic scores have climbed, the program components, the connection to music, the choreography, the performance quality have developed at an almost alarming rate. When you watch Malinin skate now compared to just 3 seasons ago, you're watching an athlete who has rapidly evolved in every dimension of the sport simultaneously. The question that everyone in the skating world is now whispering but nobody wants to say out loud is this: is Ilia Malinin the greatest men's figure skater of all time in the making? And I don't ask that to be dramatic. I ask it because the trajectory says something remarkable. Hanyu had 2 Olympic gold medals by the time he was 23. Malinin is 19 and already has 3 world titles. The 2026 Winter Olympics in Milan are coming, and if the trajectory holds, if the health holds, if the consistency holds, we may be watching something that figure skating will be talking about for the next 50 years. But here's the part that fascinates me most: the pressure. Not the competitive pressure. Malinin seems almost unnerving in his calm under competition conditions. No, I mean the cultural pressure, the weight of being the prodigy, the weight of a sport that idolizes Hanyu to an almost religious degree in parts of the world, and now must grapple with the possibility that someone new might be ascending beyond that shadow. Malinin himself has spoken about Hanyu with pure admiration. He has never positioned himself as a rival to a legacy. He has positioned himself as a student of the sport who wants to see how far it can go. That humility, in combination with those technical capabilities, might be the most dangerous combination in figure skating history. And here's the thing nobody says in these conversations: the business angle. Figure skating has been searching for its next global crossover star ever since Hanyu stepped back from competitive skating. Networks were concerned about viewership. Sponsors were recalculating their investments. The sport needed a face. It needed a story. And then a teenager from Reston, Virginia landed a quadruple Axel. The sport's commercial trajectory changed overnight. Broadcasts featuring Malinin have seen viewership spikes. His social media presence has exploded. His competitions draw the kind of anticipation that used to belong only to the sports world's biggest events. That is not a small thing. That is the kind of cultural and financial gravity that transforms careers and transforms sports. So where does Ilia Malinin sit in history right now? He sits at the edge of something enormous. 3 world titles before his 20th birthday puts him in territory no man has touched in 25 years. The quad axel puts him in territory no human has ever touched. The Olympic cycle puts him on a direct collision course with immortality. The only thing standing between Malinin and a legacy that reshapes the entire conversation about the greatest figure skaters who ever lived is time, and he has more of it than anyone else in this sport right now. History has a way of surprising us, but sometimes the signals are so clear, so undeniable, that even the historians are taking notes before the chapter is finished. This is one of those moments. If you've made it this far and you're not already subscribed, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button because we are covering this story as it unfolds and you do not want to miss what comes next. Drop a comment below. Do you think Ilia Malinin is on his way to becoming the greatest men's figure skater of all time? Let's have that conversation.